Welcome back to a very special Purple Rain report. The next night after the draft, the day after, the morning after, we are here. We have a lot to talk about. We have a lot to analyze, and let's not mince words. You can find this guy on Instagram and Twitter at Sutton and Alex. You can find me on Twitter at simplyas10, on Instagram at simplyas10.prod, and don't forget to follow the Instagram for the show at the Purple Rain Podcast. So, like I said, not going to mince words. We can get right into it. A trade went down last night. If you were watching, I think both of us were pretty upset about it.
Yes.
Marquise Hollywood Brown and a third-round pick to the Arizona Cardinals for the number 23 overall pick, and we both obviously were pretty upset about it. We both slept on it, and so let you go first. Like, how do you feel about it after had a nice sleep on it?
Well, I mean, yeah, like you said, Alex, when we initially reacted to it, both of our knee-jerk reaction was like, what the hell? Like, WTF, sort of energy. And we just didn't know why they were going in this direction, what was going on. But we did happen to get some more answers at the press conference, the post-pick press conference that they held with DaCosta, Harbaugh, and I think one other guy too. It was who was the other guy at the press conference?
I think it was the director of scouting, Joe Horitz, I believe. I think that's him.
Ortiz.
Yeah, Ortiz.
Okay, got you. Yeah. So, at that, we got some more answers as to why Hollywood, left. He actually requested a trade as soon as the season ended, which for me opened up like a whole nother can of worms, because I'm thinking to myself, like, hey, would this be happening right now if Lamar did not get injured like halfway through the season and he was able to have that, continuously like good year that he was having with Hollywood Brown up until that point? I don't think so. So like, I feel like a lot of factors go into it. But like I said, my knee-jerk reaction was what the fuck. But now that I've slept on it, I'm not as upset, and here's why.
Booyah.
Hollywood Brown was always, well, I'm not going to say he was never a wide receiver one, because for us, he was our wide receiver one. He was Lamar Jackson's wide receiver one. But at the same time, like, a lot of us struggled with putting him in that legitimate wide receiver one category because he's not a 50-50 ball guy, because he's not a super physical guy, because he shies away from contact, because sometimes he drop big passes. He dropped 3 touchdown passes in one game, for crying out loud. So there were some questions. And the issue is that the Ravens were going to have to get ready to pay him long term.
20 million big bucks.
Yeah, exactly. They were going to have to get ready to start paying Hollywood Brown more and more money. So I get it from a business standpoint that, like, you get rid of him, right? You offload his contract. That gives you more room for other things, other players, other, signings, things like that. And of course, for your rookies. But at the same time, though, our receiving core is so depleted, because now we're down to Rashad Bateman and other guys, Duvernay, Prochet, Wallace, who we have faith in, absolutely. But are those guys going to be winning the games for us?
Unproven.
Are they going to win Super Bowls for us?
Yeah.
Right. But what were you thinking though?
So I'm honestly on the same exact board there. I think for me, it hurt more from a personal standpoint, and I guess you cannot put personal and you can't mix that. So I kind of put that out the window.
Right.
And the only thing I'm mad about truly is that if we're gonna pick an offensive coordinator, over a player, picking a coach over a player or players, then that's where the problem lies. I mean, I know Hayden Hurst requested a trade. I'm not going to put too much on the offensive coordinator about that, but he definitely wasn't used in the correct way. Orlando Brown,
right,
the whole left tackle, right tackle, and now Marquise Brown. It's the third offensive player in 3 years who has been traded.
Yeah.
First round pick, third round pick, first round pick. Not a good pattern to have. And I do 1,000,000% agree with you. I mean, he was our wide receiver one, but when you look around the league, there are, like an AJ Brown I was just telling you before, he went for an 18th overall pick, and we got 23rd for Hollywood. When the comparison is like night and day. And also, oh, my AirPod's dying. Oh, lovely. With Lamar, he put up great numbers, but when Lamar went out, he only had like 141 reception yards in those last 4 or 5 games. That's worrying.
Right.
That's very worrying. So I get it. I can't be too mad at it. So I'm just excited to see what we do today and tomorrow because we will be getting a receiver. I just don't know who.
Yeah. So, I mean, with that being said, let's ask this question. For those of you guys watching right now, I want you guys to comment down below in response to this question. Do you think that wide receiver is the number one priority now for the Baltimore Ravens over edge rusher, over another tackle, over whatever? Do you think that wide receiver is the number one priority as of right now?
I think it has to be. I think it does.
Okay.
I mean, outside of Mark Andrews and Bateman, who is proven? I mean, even Bateman's not fully proven, but you know what he can do. I think we saw enough last year. I mean, he didn't drop a pass. I think that not one pass and he made some tough catches. One-handed, reaching out against the Vikings. I think it is, but I don't think we'll reach for one. I don't think we'll reach for a third rounder in the second round. I think we would just let him go. And we have all these fourth round picks. And even with that, we have 6 fourth round picks now. I wholeheartedly hope we somehow trade back into the second round today to get maybe an edge rusher and maybe get wide receiver.
Yeah. The second round needs to be a field day for the Ravens. And they need to trade. They need to, like you said, they need to trade back up into that round. And there's multiple guys who are going to be there who can make an impact on our roster.
Watson Pickens for receivers right there. Who knows what's happening with Ojabo?
Yeah.
He's from Michigan. That I think is definitely something that could happen. And who knows? But I mean, there's quality in the second round. And 45 is a mid second round pick. I mean, there's going to be definitely some guys that got snubbed from the first round. And I mean, quarterbacks still have to go. That means Willis, Coro, they still got to go. Riddler.
Yeah.
So hopefully we get somebody fall to us at 45.
Yeah, definitely. We are going to need some more help at the wide receiver position. I agree that I think that is our number one priority as of right now today before the second round has taken place. Now, real quick, before we get into our first round draft picks on whether or not we like those after we've had a night to sleep on it, did you get to see or hear what Steve Smith said about Hollywood Brown?
I saw, and that's the one thing I do love about Steve Smith. He will keep it real, and it doesn't matter what team, doesn't matter what player, doesn't matter what position you are. He kept it real. I don't know why he said it. It's not like Hollywood disrespected the Ravens. He said it was all love with Baltimore. They wanted to move on, and we know why. I mean, it's pretty obvious to why he wanted to move on. So I can't hate him for that, but I did see what he said. Steve Smith doesn't mince words. Does not mince words.
No, he doesn't. And I'll tell you one thing, Steve Smith, he can spot out somebody soft within a crowd. Like he can. And I think that's like what he was trying to kind of get at here. Because he was saying like, hey, Hollywood Brown, he's good off the motion. You got to get him in space. But other than that, there's really not too much he can do because he doesn't really have that physicality. He doesn't have that physicality at all. And we could kind of see that from the early stages in his career. First, when he came into the league with that lingering foot injury, we saw him shy away from contact, get down before, get out of bounds, that sort of thing before anybody even touches him. And that actually did get better. We actually did start seeing him turn upfield, trying to fight for extra yards and things like that. So I kind of do feel like Steve Smith's criticism there is a little bit unfair, but I do understand where he's coming from in that regard. And with that being said, I think that, the Ravens could go out and replace him with, a speedy receiver with maybe a bigger body.
I mean, that's screaming George Pickens or Christian Watson, 1,000,000%. And also the whole getting off the press thing. The great thing for him is that in Arizona, he's not going to have to worry about that. There's going to be tons of space for him with Hopkins, Green, Hollywood, and Rondale Moore. He'll definitely produce. I'm not going to say 1,000 yards because there is so many guys that need to get the ball, but it definitely could happen. They could have definitely 2,000-yard receivers. Definitely.
Yeah, very well possible. All right, let's shift gears to this really quick. I want to know, based off of the first round selections that the Ravens made, obviously they made picks at 14 and at 25 as well. At 14, picking Kyle Hamilton, safety, and at 25, picking Tyler Linderbaum, center. Yes. So, of course, we all know, we just got done talking about it. Hollywood Brown, we did lose him last night. So do you think after the first round, do you think the Ravens got better or worse?
I'm going to go from a whole team perspective, a little bit better. Obviously, the receiving room is just it's unproven. That's really the only word I can give you. Unproven and inexperienced. The guy who's been on that team the longest is Prochet and Duvernay, and they literally were drafted in 2020, which is the craziest thing to think about.
Yeah.
Like that, those are the vets in the room. But I'm gonna look at the Hamilton. He literally was a top 5 pick. Some had him as like the best player in the draft, and we got him at 14. Wow, and that means we have our safety duo for the next 5 years.
Which is good. Yeah,
that really shores up things in the back end in a passing league. I'm cool with that. He's sideline to sideline. He's made some crazy plays. Love that. Then Linderbaum, I didn't even think we were going to draft him in the first round. We've talked about the center. I know when Huddle Up Films was on, he even said, when the Ravens get their centers, it's mainly like, undrafted free agent, 6th round, 7th round. We got one in the first. So they're saying this guy right here is a day 1 starter. I don't want to hear there's a competition for the center. Yeah. He's our center. I like that. And I think he only gave up 3 sacks last year, or I think in his college career. Give me that.
And like 1,100 snaps. Yeah.
Give me that. 1 million. Give me that. So I do think we got a little bit better, but I did see that Mike McDonald likes to run 3 safeties. So if that is true, I'm liking the Hamilton pick a lot more because that means he will be on the field more. That was my biggest worry. I'm like, we already have our safeties, but if he can be on the field more, I'm cool with it. I think that was a steal, and I think he could be the best player in the draft class defensive wise. So I'm really cool with that. Definitely know what you think. But yeah, we think we got a little bit better, and we still have a lot more picks. And today is a bigger day than yesterday because we got to hit 2nd and 3rd, trade back up in the 2nd, and get some starters.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, man, I am in agreement with you here when it comes to how much I'm actually liking these picks. Last night, while the draft was on, there was just so many emotions. Like I didn't know what to really think, or make of Kyle Hamilton getting drafted, or Tyler Linderbaum as well, all because of the whole Hollywood mess. But like we said, we're doing this video because we've had a night to sleep on it, right? So these aren't instant knee-jerk reactions.
It's hard to be live.
Gathered, collected thoughts.
It's hard to be live because you have so much going on. It's like we're focused on the draft and trade. We're picking this person. It's so hard.
It's a lot. So, but looking back at it, they actually did a really good job in getting value at the spots that they picked at. Like you said, Kyle Hamilton was not supposed to ever fall to 14. No. But the Ravens didn't let him get past him, which was nice, Yeah. So we went for like the kind of the generational talent, which is cool. I like that. We get day 1 starters. Kyle Hamilton should be a day 1 starter. Tyler Linderbaum, like you said, day 1 starter, and the reason why I really, really like Tyler Linderbaum, if I had to lean towards liking one pick or another, I'd honestly go with Linderbaum because why? I mean, it's Lamar help, long-term Lamar help, and just looking at what Linderbaum on tape is able to do, like he's really, really good at helping out his guards, which is important as a center. He can get to the next level, block a linebacker, kick guys out. Like it's really, really nice to see, and I think that could be, and like I've said on this show many times before, like every play starts with the center. So you have to have good insurance at that position. Like you literally have to, or the rest of your offense will not work, period. Yeah. So I think that's a very good pickup. We got the best player at that position, Tyler Linderbaum. We got the best player at the safety position in Kyle Hamilton as well. And just going back to Kyle Hamilton, touching on him a little bit more, that like having Kyle Hamilton, like you said, Marcus Williams, like having both of those guys shoring up that back end of the defense, that is huge, especially considering who we have to play against. Like we're in an AFC North division where you have Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, explosives. You have Deshaun Watson and now Amari Cooper, explosives. You know what I mean? And now you're going to have the Steelers, who are going to be the Steelers at all times. You want to make sure that you're shoring up with them as well, especially considering how well these two franchises know each other. But there's just so much explosiveness in the AFC North alone, not to mention the Bills, not to mention the Chiefs, not to mention the Chargers, So I really like what they did here, kind of shoring up that secondary. Of course, we should be getting Marcus Peters and Marlon Humphrey back as well. To kind of, like I said, there's all these explosive offenses, and we're cutting the wires on those explosives. I think that's what we're trying to do here, not give up those big plays like we did last year. So All in all, I really, really do. Like I said, I'm in agreement with you. I like the picks. I think that the Ravens did get a little bit better. Only reason why I say a little bit better is because we lost Hollywood Brown, and I got to ding him for that. But we should be able to make up for it in the second round, like you said.
I would 1,000,000% agree with you. And then thinking about this as safeties, like that means I think Brandon Stevens' roles are going to be even bigger. I think he'll be playing corner safety. I mean, we could be running 2 corners, 4 safeties at this point, and they could have the 4 like in quarters. I don't know. I'm not sure what we're going to do, but Mike McDonald has a lot to play with. And they're giving him all the tools he needs to have a successful defense, barring that I word. I'm not going to say it, but I'm definitely excited to see this defense. And for just going back to it, I hope with a new center, don't come out and shotgun every single play. I want to see him under center more. I really do. I want to see Lamar under center, but I don't think it'll happen because that would make a rookie center's life a whole lot easier. But that's kind of my final point on that.
Okay. Yeah, so I mean, there you have it, folks. You get the not the knee-jerk reaction, but the gathered, collected thoughts from yours truly, Simply AS10 and Sutton Def from the Purple Rain podcast. Appreciate all of you guys for checking out this video. There will be more videos, more content coming out as the Ravens make more moves in the draft. Of course, the second round is today, so there will be more content coming out. Either if not tonight, probably tomorrow at some point. We'll figure it out. But yeah, we appreciate all of you guys for coming through to this Purple Rain report. Make sure you hit that like button. Also subscribe if you are new to this channel and you enjoyed the content today. And we just appreciate you guys. And like my guy Alex says, what do you always say?
Stay positive, test negative, and it still hurts.
And never, ever forget, it still hurts. Call God, baby. We're going to catch you guys in the next one.